Bible prophecy is active and unfolding daily. Zechariah 12, Isaiah 17, Psalm 83, Ezekiel 38. Here is what the LameStream Media is not telling you. Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's newscast. From Fars, Iran, the Islamic Revolution Guards Corps said in a statement last Thursday, quote, "The IRGC will continue its relentless fight against the hegemonic system and Zionism more resolutely and more powerfully than before, and it will not hesitate a moment in defending the Islamic Revolution and the country's national interests. The regional influence, the might and development of the Islamic Republic's missile power will continue and advance without a stop and more rapidly." This this stuff is just escalating in new ways. And my friends, I recently saw someone who showed a clip from my June 13th, 2017 newscast where I said, "If the Netchatef doesn't happen this year, I won't know what to think." Now, I was referring to a more elaborate video on the subject that was released 2 days later, where I said that same thing, but elaborated on it. It's less than a minute long, and I think it's worth reflecting on. Let's check it out together. If the Netchatef doesn't happen this year, I won't know what to think. Initially, I'm sure if it doesn't happen this year, Elohim will reveal to me what needs to be known about that. I'm very much convinced that we're going home this year. I'm also ready to deal with not going home this year, being wrong about, everything. I don't know anything. I don't know nothing. Remember that? Now, just like all of us, Chavarim, I'm still fired up with great hope about going home this year. And I want to encourage all the watchmen out there. Just because we falter at interpreting signs, it's no reason to falter about keeping your watch. Do not allow yourself to be intimidated by the insults that have been hurled at you, and do not think for 1 minute that I'm saying anything negative about you. I'm admonishing you, Chavari, and there are times when you need to be admonished, yes? But it's to get you back up on the wall. It's not to disgrace you. No one wants you to allow Hashatan, Satan, to lay guilt trips or other forms of confusion on you so that you hide yourself away. I've been watching a lot of videos this past week, something I never do. And I have links for you below to the Watchmen, whom I've seen doing a good job. First, there's Adam, brand new daddy, Adam, from the parable of the vineyard. I salute you, Adam, for the video you posted on October 2nd, where you did the right thing. That is, the very thing I've been shouting about. You got back up on the wall 2 days later and spoke to your flock. Check out Adam, my friends, acting as a true tzafah. See a true watchman keeping his post. Click his link beneath today's video, more info section. You should know the drill. Also, May Elohim's mighty beracha be upon you and yours, Adam, and on your new baby girl. I caught your video announcement on October 19th saying that you and your wife were off to the delivery room, and on the 20th, rejoicing over your new daughter. And don't think for 1 minute, Adam, that I didn't hear you say the Father's name and pronounce it perfectly. Praise Yahweh, Yahweh, our Elohim. Next, my friends, we have J.D. Farag, always a favorite of mine, with every Sunday's Mideast Prophecy update. You always do a good job, Wahid. Then we have Zeus Mossbender. I believe the man's name is Paul. But man, when you parse out the word of Yahweh, my friend, you do a wonderful job. And you've been steady and sure as a watchman should be. Robert Breaker puts a new sermon out every week, one in English, one in Spanish, and he does a midweek sermon as well. He put a video out last week titled The Barley Harvest, Halloween, and an October-November Rapture? I absolutely love the point you made, Robert, about how all the date setting is doing one very cool thing. People are reading the Word of Yahweh to see if what's being said makes sense. Amen, my friend. And Robert's handwriting is really cool. You can read this guy's handwriting. Note, however, he makes a point saying that when the rapture happens, we're going to leave behind our clothes and our blood. But it isn't Robert saying that. It's just the thought someone emailed to him. But I want all of you, my friends, to have a clear understanding. This teaching has been put out there, quite a bit because we see in the Gospels where doubting Thomas approaches Yeshua, and Yeshua says to him, look, put your hands on me. See if I'm not flesh and bone. Now, this was after Yeshua was resurrected, and we all know that he gives us an example of what happens to those who are taken in the Nechatef and translated from corruptible to incorruptible. But when Yeshua says, see if I'm not flesh and bone, I believe it's a bit different. And if you think about it, you'll agree. What did he purchase us with? Chavarim, his blood. He spilled every last drop of his blood for those in the world. So when he says, I'm flesh and bone, his blood is in a vessel in the Shamayim. That's another study. But that doesn't mean that we will not have blood running through our veins. Doesn't mean that we will. I don't know. But I'm just saying, when Yeshua said that, it's not the same as us. And after he was resurrected, yes, it's an example of us being made incorruptible. But when it comes to his blood, I don't know that we have anything that can be compared. Anyway, I encourage you, my friends, click the link I have for you below. Check Robert Breaker out. Daniel Matson has a recent article worth your attention titled Noah's Day of Protective Hiding, also linked for you below. And finally, there's a watchman named Jeff who has a YouTube channel called Gevti, if I'm pronouncing it right. And Jeff posted a video just last Friday that you will certainly want to watch. It's linked for you below. He gives a very strong and scriptural proof for November 3rd, or thereabouts. And one very personal note to all of those I've just listed. My beloved brothers, it would esteem Elohim if you started teaching your flock the Kodesh language, hallowed be his name, yes? What's his name? Instead of saying God, say the Father. Everybody knows who you're talking about. Further, our Adon, our Master's name, was never Jesus. It is Yeshua. If the Father's name is to be hallowed, referring to him as the Lord or God or please Jehovah, that is cursing his nature. These titles do not cut it. Our Father who art in the Shamayim, hallowed be thy name. The name above all names is Yahweh. There, at the very least, is a good start, my friends. Please receive the admonishments from this old man in love. Luke 18, verse 8, when Yeshua comes, will he find you being washed by and growing in Yahweh's word? Most English translations say faith, abstract Western concept, not of Elohim, being washed by and growing in Yahweh's word. Eastern concept, the mind of Yeshua HaMashiach. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 1. Follow the way of compassion, love, and understanding, and eagerly desire the gifts of the Ruach, the Spirit, especially Nevuah, prophecy. I urge you to watch last Thursday's word study titled, What Does It Mean to Be a Watchman? I could also have titled it, What Does It Mean to Be a Prophet? People have poor understandings of the title of prophet, the title of Navi. Anyone who interprets and delivers the word of Yahweh is acting as a Navi, and that includes you. If you've already watched last week's word study, I challenge you to watch it again with extreme care and focused attention. I promise you, you will receive revelations anew each time you watch. We all need you to dedicate yourself to that anointed station in the Malchut, the kingdom of Elohim, precisely and exactly as defined in Yahweh's word, which Elohim has outlined for us very clearly. Also, if you have a video channel with a growing flock, I remind you as a Safa, a watchman, or as a Navi, a prophet, you are going to be held responsible for your charge over them when you appear before Yeshua at the Bema seat. You won't receive any form of punishment. You're covered by his blood. But you will miss out on rewards that are staggering to consider. And now is your opportunity to feed his sheep. Turning to wars and rumors of wars, on Friday, October 20th, from the Washington Post, groups of Kurdish Peshmerga fighters used rockets and mortars in an attempt to halt the advance of Iraqi troops backed by militias as they captured the remaining district of Kirkuk province. Then on Saturday, October 21st, from the Times of Israel, Israel believes 5 rockets fired across the border from Syria on Saturday, 4 of which landed relatively deep inside Israeli territory, may have been deliberately launched at Israel rather than constituting errant spillover, since there was no fighting going on in Syria at the time. Israel fired back into Syria, hitting 3 rocket launchers. Then from Ynet News, the intentional firing of 5 rockets from Syria, intentional, fired from Syria into Israel are part of the wider battle Iran and Syria are waging against Israel. The Iranians would like to achieve international and regional legitimization for their presence and military activity in Syria, and deter Israel from continuing its attacks within Syria, but without an all-out war with Israel. Israel is seeking a long-term American-Russian arrangement in Syria in which the Iranians will have no military presence on the border with Israel in the Golan Heights, nor in air and naval bases on Syrian territory. These are their intentions, not Abba's. Then on Monday, October 23rd, from Arutz Shiva, Israeli Air Force planes responded to a Syrian attack on Israeli aircraft, destroying the surface-to-air missile battery which had attacked them. Looking at our Intifada update on Wednesday, October 18th, from the Jerusalem Post, a Palestinian armed with a knife attempted to attack IDF troops in Gush Etzion before being shot and wounded. And looking at our review of last week's news, Kurdish Peshmerga fighters used rockets and mortars in an attempt to halt the advance of Iraqi troops backed by militias as they captured the remaining district of Kirkuk province. The intentional firing of 5 rockets from Syria into Israel are part of the wider battle Iran and Syria are waging against Israel. Israeli Air Force planes responded to a Syrian attack on Israeli aircraft, destroying the surface-to-air missile battery which had attacked them. And a Palestinian armed with a knife attempted to attack IDF troops in Gush Etzion before being shot and wounded. And that, my friends, is what the LameStream Media is not telling you. Abba willing, I'll see you here again next week. Until then, keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Shalom, my friends.
Crowded rooms, I need more space than I consume. Enough is time alone with you, underneath a naked moon, sharing confidential moods and making chatter. Mockingbird nocturnal sings notations of eternal things, entering the quantum breeze, flying not for want of wings. He lights his gaze on you and me, simply because we matter.